It's Christmas in July, so let's talk pattern ideas. Okay, so I was sorting through yarn the other day, trying to work out what I had for gnomes for the rest of the year, so that I can avoid buying minis unnecessarily. And in the process of doing that, I found a whole bunch of leftover Christmas sock yarn and some of this sparkly, lyrexy lace weight in like gold, silver, red and green that years and years and years ago I used to make like poinsettia, crocheted poinsettia to decorate Christmas presents. I haven't kept any, they all went on gifts. At least I think that's what I used it for. So I untangled this all from itself and from each other. There's still a bunch of knots in all of the yarns, but it got me thinking of what on earth am I going to use this thread weight, lace weight, really thin, sparkly, lyrexy stuff with. Probably wouldn't be making much in the way of wearables because A, I don't have enough, and B, I'm not sure that's going to be the most comfortable. Maybe for something loose and meshy and floaty that goes over the top of things, maybe for some trimmings. It's more sparkly than the stuff you get in sparkle sock yarn. It is just the sparkle portion of the yarn. So it's really good for like Christmassy decorations and trims and stuff. But yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with that. So, as we are now heading into our third heat wave of the year, I think it peaks today. We're expecting 30 degrees here. London's expecting 34. Glad I don't still live there on days like this. So I thought I'd have a little look at what Lovecrafts have to offer in the way of Christmas patterns. Not sponsored by Lovecrafts at all or anything. I just use them quite a lot for supplies as well as for patterns and things. So I'm recording my screen so I can show you the stuff that I've found. Did I find stuff to use this yarn up with? Not really. It didn't really meet my purpose, but I have got a whole bunch of Christmas ideas to share with you that if you're more organised than me, you could start making now and have loads of stuff ready for Christmas this year. If you are like me and you get to like the middle of November and realise Christmas is 6 weeks away and you haven't done anything, you'd still be able to get some of these done in that time. Okay, so I'm doing a screen capture as I'm talking to you so that you can see the things that I found, but I'm not using my webcam on the laptop to record my face at the moment because it's so sunny and hot outside. I've got the curtains shut and the lighting is making me go grainy on the webcam. So if I look like I'm looking in weird directions, it's because the laptop's on my lap and you're up there. Just so that you get a better visual in terms of quality as we go. So the sections that I have got in Chrome for these pattern ideas are blankets, wreaths, garlands and etc. Coasters, tea cozies, amigurumis, stuffies and figures. That's all one section. Stocking stuffers, gift bags, scarves and miscellaneous. So the things that I couldn't fit into other categories, either because I only had one idea for that type or I just didn't know where to put them. So first up we have a corner to corner blanket which comes with a snowman amigurumi, so double whammy on this one. It's a King Cole pattern, which is a very well established brand in the UK for yarn. I don't know how well they do in other countries. It's probably the yarn I was most familiar with growing up. Not the only yarn that was around, but probably the one I was most familiar with. So you've got this gorgeous blanket in corner to corner crochet, designed for DK, with Santa in the middle and Noel across the bottom. So nice seasonal DK weight blanket. Being DK, it's obviously not going to take as long to work up as a fingering weight would. And then there's accompanying little snowman for a £2.99 price tag. That's British pounds. I'm not sure what the current exchange rate is to the US. So yeah, that's a good value little bundle. And if you've got a little one, maybe a first Christmas coming up or a second Christmas coming up, a blanket and amigurumi little combo would be a nice gift for them. So the good thing about looking at the Lovecrafts is it does give you suggestions for which yarns to use, and you can put them straight in your basket if you want. Obviously it goes with the ones that are recommended in the pattern, so in this case that is all King Cole yarns, but I mean commercial yarn brand, it's going to be more affordable than getting indie dyed yarn to do a blanket. So yeah, nice Christmassy blanket there. The next blanket to look at is a textured one, another crochet one. It's using bobble stitches, possibly popcorn stitches. It's by Angela L. £4.50 price point. Crochet Christmas tree star blanket. So it's alternating stars and Christmas trees within squares. So it looks like you're making it up as squares, but they've done the colours as stripes. So yeah, it looks like squares made up and then joined together. But that does also mean that you could quite easily, yeah, there you go, see the squares being blocked. You could quite easily adapt that into cushion covers and other decorations to go with your blanket. The next pattern to look at is a baby blanket. I know that Afghan is probably a more common term in the US than it is in the UK. We just say blanket or throw in this country, usually. I imagine it's becoming a more common term because Americanization, internet, all that sort of stuff. But this is a very sweet baby blanket. It looks like a tapestry crochet. I'm not entirely sure the difference between tapestry crochet, colourwork crochet and mosaic crochet. Mostly because I haven't really done any. I've done some overlay crochet when I did the Sophie's Universe blanket, but colourwork crochet I've not done any form of colourwork crochet. So charger crochet, tapestry crochet, I don't know, but it's cute. And so if somebody who's into the kawaii kind of look would probably quite like this, and obviously it is ideal for babies because it's a baby blanket. I'm not sure how you would enlarge it for a larger person. I suppose you could add more borders on. But yeah, very sweet. Next up we have two more Angela L patterns, and these are both knit and purl textured patterns. So textured Christmas knit with these reindeer and snowflakes. There we go, hearts as well, so very sort of Nordic imagery but done in knits and pearls rather than colourwork. And also the panelled Christmas knit. So we've got these sort of Nordic inspired panels with Christmas trees and reindeers in amongst them. So both would be nice sort of chair throw to bring a little Christmas into your living room, that kind of thing. They're not massive blankets by the look of it. But yeah, it should be quite enjoyable to make, and both of those are at a £4.50 price point. So the patterns aren't, you know, badly priced. Moving on to my next section, we'll have a look at wreaths. We've got a couple of options here. Obviously, wreath is a classic Christmas decoration. Front doors, walls, whatever you want to put them. So I've got two different versions of a wreath here. So the first one by Lisa F at £4 for the pattern is the Christmas crochet wreath pattern Jingle Bells option. So the sample's done in classic red and green with these pom-pom and disc embellishments, there we go, that's the word, added onto it. So you can make the little bits and pieces individually whenever you've got a few moments. I wouldn't imagine covering a polystyrene half wreath, so that's the ones that are flat on the back and curved on the front, which is what I've got for my knitted one that I made donkeys years ago, probably about 20 years ago now. But I can't imagine the crochet being a long task to cover that. A few bobble stitches or popcorn stitches as well to add a bit of texture, so that's a rather funky, colourful version. The other version is in a much more muted colourway with this blue, grey and white scheme. So again it's Lisa F, again it's £4, again it's crochet. This is the Blizzard version. So again the half wreath has been covered in crochet, and we've got a couple of snowflake embellishments there which I think are bought and added, but you could crochet a snowflake. And then we've got pom-poms and balls, or they're all crochet balls there, they're not pom-poms by the look of it. So again, you can make the constituent parts separately and add them on. There we see our half wreath. So it's just like a polystyrene thing. They are very light. You can put them on a front door, but you want to anchor it down really, really well. When we do put the knitted wreath on the front door, it tends to blow around in the wind quite a bit. So sometimes it's flipped the wrong way around if you don't anchor it properly, like top and bottom. But if you're putting it inside, that's not an issue. Okay, so that's my wreath section. The next section is garlands, etc. So these are things that you can wrap around a tree or hang up against a wall, those kinds of things. So things that you would use in the same way you would use either tinsel or bunting. Okay, so first up we have crochet Christmas berry and popcorn garland at £2.59. This is by Crafting Happiness. Now the popcorn and berry garland thing, not a very British thing. I think we would probably want to eat the popcorn and berries rather than put them on the tree. But I do like the look of them, and it goes with my colour scheme, so you never know, they might get made. And I could use some of this red sparkly yarn for the berries, I think. I would probably need to hold multiple strands together, because obviously lace weight, and this is probably not a lace weight yarn. Oh, it just says strong floss. So yeah, some of the yarns, if Lovecraft doesn't have the yarn recommended in the pattern in stock, it won't list it, but if it does, it will. So strong floss, but it does also say DK, so I wouldn't really class floss as DK. So yeah, I'd need to hold multiple strands of this, or hold it with a red for the berries, bring a bit of sparkle into that. But yeah, it's rather a sweet little pattern. I can't see it taking a ton of time, and you'd be able to do it as long as you wanted. So I thought that would be a nice little addition to the tree. My husband likes tinsel, I cannot stand it. So we don't have tinsel on the tree. To be fair, I mean, our tree wouldn't really handle a lot of tinsel. But I find tinsel is a bit like glitter, it gets everywhere. But I don't mind garlands, I don't like strings of beads and that sort of stuff. So I think this might be a good compromise, getting a bit of tinsel-esque effect without driving me bonkers with all the strands of tinsel all over the place. It also doesn't take long for tinsel to look tatty. I like my stuff to be able to come out year on year. So yeah, garlands might be the way to do it. We also have the classic paper chain here. So we have a crochet paper chain patterned by Diana Wilder at £3.50. So she's used Aran weight for this version of the pattern. So you're crocheting up the loops and linking them together the same as you would with the classic strips of coloured paper that we all used to do as kids. So yeah, you can string them around the place however you like. I think the husband would probably quite like that as well, because he's talked about garlands and stringing things across the ceiling before. The final pattern in this section is the Christmas tree wrap. I thought this was really interesting. Again, it's going to do the tinsel job on your tree, if you wanted to use it on your tree, but you can also use it as a scarf or like a shawl. I've put it in the garlands etc section rather than in the scarf section because I think it would look good on a tree. It's not an overly wide shawl wrap thing, so yeah, I think you could use it as like a swag around the tree or over a fireplace, that kind of stuff. So if you're somebody who likes making shawls, this one would fill the shawl scratch that itch, and as I say, it is designed as a shawl. It is designed to be worn, but I think I would probably use it as decoration because I've got plenty of shawls already, as I'm sure most of you that knit shawls have as well. But yeah, it would also make a good gift. So a little bit more expensive pattern. I mean, still not massively expensive, but £5.83, and it's by Smine. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce that. So yeah, so I would use it as a garland or a banner or something, but designed as a scarf or shawl. Next up, coasters. I did name the group Coasters and Table Decorations, but I've only got coasters in there. So we have a nice classic snowflake patterned crochet Christmas coaster here by Knitland at £3.64. So the sample's done in blue and white. You could change it up to match your colour scheme. My mum always used to do blue and silver in the dining room. So this would work really nicely for that. You could easily do it in, you know, red and white or whatever. So we've got a placemat sized one and a coaster sized one there. Also, I suppose it does fit my table decks option. So we've got a 5-inch one and 9.5-inch. So yeah, the coaster is the smaller one, reasonable sized placemat as well. And the other pattern that I have in this coaster section is a Santa coaster, because of course it's got to have Santa in there somewhere if you're making Christmas decorations. I'm not sure about the beads on a coaster. I suppose if they're tiny enough they'd work, but I'm not entirely convinced that that would be great for putting mugs on, because they tend to be plastic. So I would maybe embroider the eyes instead, maybe a couple of French knots. But I mean, otherwise it's a very sweet pattern. It's not going to take long to do, and just a few colours there to get that. Moving on from coasters and table decorations, let's talk about tea cozies, because of course we're going to talk about tea cozies. This is a British YouTube channel. So first up we have the Christmas tree tea cozy. So a lot of texture in this one. So the teapot itself is being dressed up as the Christmas tree there with a star on top. I wouldn't imagine that's going to take too long. This is a Sue Stratford pattern at £3.25. So yeah, not an expensive pattern at all. And it probably doesn't take that much yarn. The recommended yarn is DK alpaca. Yeah. They're using 4mm needles, so that's quite a tight gauge. I mean, not like ridiculously tight, but it's not, you know, a loose gauge, which is good because you want to keep the heat in for a tea cozy. So yeah, Christmas tree tea cozy. Next up we have a Santa tea cozy. I mean, doesn't he just look adorable? So Santa is sitting on the teapot. It's not been inserted into Santa, he is sitting on it. He is. I will not take any arguments on that. So this is designed by John at £3.84. Again, not a huge price tag, but this is a well thought out pattern. And he's got braces on, for goodness sake. So yeah, liking that. Liking the use of the fur textured trim. Liking the fact that he's got fingers, like separate fingers. It's not one of the, you know, stuck together hands. So there's going to be a bit of fiddly work involved there, but yeah, I think he's great. And my final tea cozy pattern is a holly, Christmas pudding and robin set. So this pattern, it's a paint box yarns pattern, so Lovecraft's own yarn. So it's free. I think the robin and the little Christmas pudding are designed as chocolate orange covers, but you could also use them as egg cozies, I guess. They also give an example of them stuffed and used as a garland. So this is a nice bundle of Christmas stuff designed to be used with the Paintbox Yarns Simply DK yarn, but I mean any DK would work. And yeah, not bad for a free pattern. Next section is amigurumis, stuffies and figures. So in here I've got anything that I think people who make amigurumis or stuffed toys will enjoy making. So some of these have been designed with being hung on the Christmas tree in mind, but obviously they don't have to be hung on the Christmas tree. Okay, so first up we have a little amigurumi Christmas tree, rather cute little Christmas tree. The tree's the hat. It's a bodiless head with a Christmas tree hat. So that's rather cute, very kawaii. And that's by Kathy Leung and is a free pattern. There's a lot of detail in that little amigurumi there, so I am rather impressed that it's a free pattern. They're suggesting Paintbox Yarns Cotton DK. So yeah, rather sweet little amigurumi there. Then we have Christmas Ornaments Crochet Pattern Mini Amigurumi Set. Try saying that 5 times fast. So you've got a Santa, you've got a penguin, you've got a snowman, you've got a Christmas tree, little amigurumis, classic amigurumi look there. Olga Novitska is the designer there. It's available in English and German. £5.82. And yeah, they're very, very sweet. So they could be little figures. You could put little loops on them to hang them on the tree if you wanted to. But they do sort of fit the very sort of typical amigurumi style of crochet, in my mind anyway. So here's a little penguin, a Christmas tree, another penguin, snowman, and Santa, and there's the Christmas tree again. Next up we have the Snowman family Coca-Cola. So Mama, Papa and Junior Snowman, they're rather adorable. They're quite a vintage style of snowman. You will see quite a few of these sorts of figures in my little section here because I slightly got obsessed. And so this is Mama Clara Toys. So this is 3 patterns in one. So £8 2p for 3 patterns. Not bad. I imagine they put the price in dollars. Either that or it's factoring in VAT. Hence the weird 2p on the end. VAT, for those of you overseas, is UK sales tax. Next up we have Bo Rabbit, which is Lapland Visitors. So it's a rabbit toy in a Nordic inspired winter outfit. He's rather sweet. So he's got snow boots and leg warmers, as well as trousers, jacket and hat. That's by Mary Jane's Tea Room. Oh, look, in a magazine. Good for them. Little booties, pom-pom tails, so lots of little details in this particular pattern, and he's rather sweet. So I think I can see him sitting under the tree waiting for the presents to arrive. I can see him sitting on the corner of a chair on a kid's bed. Would make a good gift for kids that like stuffed animals as well. Then we have a Father Christmas stuffy by Anne Franklin, so £1.25. This is a bargain pattern. And the detail on him. He looks a little bit weary at the end of the night, but he's just been around the world, so we can forgive him that. Little hood that comes down instead of a hat. So yeah, so lots of little details on there. Rather sweet. So yeah, again, I can see him just sort of sitting around, hanging out, bringing the Christmas vibes to the decor. Following Santa, we've got another snowman. It's the same pattern design as Mama Clara Toys again. But this is a snow woman. So she's got a little dress on. She's got a little house lantern there as well. Just little stockings. So I mean, the detail in these patterns is adorable. And I think she's wearing blush. I don't think that's a separate yarn on the cheeks and the face. So yes, she's rather cute. Yeah, I did find myself getting a little bit drawn to the snowman by Mama Clara Toys. Next up, a little Nordic mice, Christmas mice. So these can sit around just tuck in little places. I can see one sort of peeking out of the branches of the Christmas tree, sitting at the dinner table, just keeping an eye on everything. And yeah, they're little mice in Nordic sweaters. They're not going to take long, and they're going to use up some scraps as well, so that would be good. And they're a nice size for small hands as well. Then we have the toy knitting pattern, Knit a Baby Penguin. So this is another Mama Clara Toys pattern. So yeah, little penguin in a Nordic sweater with a scarf. It's a very sweet little knitted toy. Why have we got that page open? Okay, for some reason I clicked on something and jumped ahead. So Winter Animals Christmas Ornaments by Amy G. So £2.92 and you're getting 5 animals. It's not bad. Again, it's going to be good for scraps. These ones are designed specifically to be hung on the tree. So we've got a little bear, a little polar bear, a little reindeer, a little rabbit, and a little fox. So a nice little set there. The grey one might be a mouse, actually. Yeah, mouse and bear, maybe. Little pink nose, it's probably a mouse. The things that go through my head when I'm looking at patterns. Following this, we have more ornaments. We have baubles, Christmas balls knit ornament. Again, Amy G. So again, we're getting a few different patterns for a pretty low price, £2.92. So we've got Santa, we've got reindeer, that'd be Rudolph. We've got a polar bear, we've got a little elf, and we've got a penguin. So yeah, ready design to go on your tree. Okay, so next up we have a loom knitting pattern. As I understand it, loom knitting is good for reducing the level of strain on your wrists. I haven't done loom knitting myself. I used to obviously have a little French knitting dolly, and that's the same process. So I learned to use that as a kid and make lots of basically I-cords. But the loom knitting is a lot more versatile. You get larger looms, you can do lots of different stuff. You can even get looms big enough to do blankets on. So if you are somebody who struggles with wrist strain, that kind of thing, knitting and crocheting, loom knitting might be a good option. Or if you just want to, take a break, use a different motion, different action in amongst everything, then that's a good option. And there are patterns available specifically for it, such as this Loom Knit Christmas Tree by Denise Canella. This is a beaded Christmas tree, so it'd be good as a table centre or dotted around in amongst all your knickknacks. And at £2.18, that's not a bad price for a pattern. Maybe I might have to give loom knitting a try at some point. Just a little bit of tinsel on that one as well. So yeah, rather sweet little project. Some people apparently find loom knitting quicker than needle knitting. So yeah, maybe worth a look into. Next up we have an Amy G pattern, another Amy G pattern. So we've got some more ornaments. I'm not sure about acorns and mushrooms as Christmas decorations, but there's quite a few patterns in there. You've got sweets, you've got Christmas tree, snowman, gingerbread house, Santa, Christmas pudding. So there's a variety of patterns in there for £4.37. So we can forgive her the autumnal mushroom and acorn. If you want that for your Christmas, by all means go ahead and use it. It just doesn't say Christmas to me. The rest of them do though. But yeah, those shouldn't take long. Good for scrap yarn, all that sort of thing. Then we move on to a pattern by Snow. This is a Christmas cracker knitting pattern. Christmas crackers are a very British tradition for Christmas. I don't know if they're used in other countries. These are not the ones you would pull. These are ones that you use as decorations. But I can see people scaling up the pattern and making like draft excluders and cushions and stuff as well. There probably are already cushion patterns out there that are Christmas crackers. I mean, look for that first before you do the maths. But yeah, rather sweet little whimsical decoration to like pop in the branches of your Christmas tree, that kind of thing. And we have some more Mama Clara snowmen. I say these have just grabbed my attention. So this snowman in particular, he's got a colourwork sweater on, he's carrying a Christmas tree, he's got a dangly hat. They're just so vintage and lovely. I may have to make some at some point, but I'll need to buy yarn for them first, because I don't generally have a lot of cream and white in stock. Next up with more baubles. This is Bumblebee Knitting with 4 baubles. We've got a reindeer, I'm assuming a snowman, a robin with wings, and an elf with ears. She's showing them in this picture being hung up on a garland. I mean, they're designed to go on a Christmas tree, and I know she's just done this for photo purposes for the website. But they do look rather good as a little garland. So I mean, that's an option for your baubles as well. Next up, we have another snowman set. This is still Mama Clara Knit Toys. £10.49 for 3 patterns. So we've got the snowman woman that we saw before with the knitted house. We've got a man there and a baby. And they are so sweet. I love the way she styled them and telling a little story with them as she takes the photographs. So yeah, very tempted by those. But we'll see. Next up is the Knittables patterns. Knit a Teddy. This is a Christmas jumper outfit. So you get the hat, the trousers, the jumper. I have knit up patterns by Knittables before, the Knitted Teddy patterns. The teddies themselves, they're not specifically Christmas, so I haven't put them individually in there. There's a range of animals. They all come out the same size. So all of the garment patterns for Knit a Teddy will fit the toy that you've made. I knit them up about 7 or 8 years ago, if not more. At a previous job for some colleagues who were expecting, there was like 3 babies all due about the same time. So I did a bunch of toys. I'm not still in regular contact with those families, unfortunately, as it's an old job. But those kids are going to be like halfway through primary school. But yeah, I do recommend the knitted teddy patterns. They are good. They're quite quick to knit up, and they're a DK pattern, and yeah, the consistency is great. So you can mix and match the outfits and the toy as much as you like. So if you like teddies, or if you've got little ones around or little ones on the way, they're a good option. And yeah, there is a whole range of clothing for them as well. The rest of the designers on this list, I haven't made up patterns by before, so I can't really speak to the quality of the patterns, but the knitted teddy ones are good. My final pattern in this section is the Cuddly Large Reindeer Softie. So that is Rudolph in a scarf. So yeah, see him scattered around, guarding your presents before they're opened, that kind of thing. And generally just bringing the Christmas vibes. Okay, so that's my amigurumis, stuffies and figures section. So we're going to move on to stocking stuffers. Stocking stuffers for me are the same sorts of things as you might put in a Secret Santa, as like your booster things if you're not quite up to price. Only some, depending on what your price bracket is that you've got for your Secret Santa, they might be the entire gift. But they're also the little things that go in the stockings to keep the kids quiet whilst you're having your lie-in before they unwrap the presents. So it's the sort of stuff that I would have wanted in a stocking as a kid, or that I've seen in stockings or had in stockings, that sort of stuff. We always used to have a handful of nuts and a satsuma in the toe of the stocking, because we used my dad's flying socks as our stockings, because they come in pairs. So you can put the empty one on your bed and Santa can fill the stocking outside the bedroom and not risk waking you up, and just swap them over. So you used to wriggle your toes at the end of the bed, and the nuts would rattle. You'd know you'd be in, you'd have those in there, you'd have your chocolate pennies in there, and colouring pencils, little notepads, kazoos, the noisy annoying stuff, all that kind of thing in your stocking. So it wasn't like a big stocking, it was like the socks that my dad wore, and my dad doesn't have the biggest feet, they're the same size as mine, so which was useful when I needed steel toe cap boots. I used his work ones. For a man, they're not the largest feet. So we have tubes to wrap up things like Smarties and fruit pastels. So Smarties in the UK, because I know Smarties are something else in the States. Smarties are chocolates with a like sugar shell, a bit like an M&M shell, on the outside. They're not whatever it is that you call Smarties in the US. So those are the tubes of sweets. You can put them in these little cracker wrapping decorations. So Santa and Elf themed ones. Then we also have for your chocolate pennies, a little pouch or a little gift bag. Gift cards would work in that as well if you're doing a stocking for a teenager. Little pencil toppers go down very well with primary school age children. Guess what age group I work with most? £2.50 for a little selection of farmyard animals to put on the end of your pencil. And then we have some more little pouches for chocolate pennies, okay, Christmas themed. A little bit of extra something for the things in the stocking. Make the kids spend a little bit longer opening up the stocking before they come and disturb you. Little one for chocolate, so the 3 little pigs. So another little gift baggy type thing. They're calling these pigs in blankets. Again, I know pigs in blankets in the States are something else. In the UK, pigs in blankets are sausages wrapped in bacon, not sausages wrapped in pastry. That's a sausage roll. So yeah. And also the sausages in batter. That's not pigs in blanket. That's toad in the hole. The egg in a bun. That's the egg in the nest. So all of these things have different names in the States, and these are the proper ones. Next up we have a butterfly fairy cake, which is a chocolate orange cover. This one could work with some of this as details, with a little sparkly butterfly on the top. Chocolate orange isn't something we normally would have got in our stockings. They were more sort of what my mother got. But we do like chocolate oranges in our family. And to prove it, here's another chocolate orange cover, Christmas Bell. So you can get quite creative with how you wrap things up to put in your stockings, or for your Secret Santa gifts, that sort of stuff. Thinking about wrapping things up, we have some gift bag options as well. So these are larger bags than you would use for stocking stuffers. So this one, the Santa gift bag, is specifically designed for those selection boxes of like Cadbury's chocolate that you get. I'm sure there are other brands that do chocolate selection boxes. Cadbury's are just the one that came to my head straight away. But that's the size that these are. So they're Santa themed. They've got little handles in the hat. We also could do a fairly sort of standard drawstring gift bag type thing. These would work for other times of the year as well, and you can do them in whatever size. You'd probably want to wait until nearer to Christmas to make these, when you know what sizes you need for stuff, but they can obviously be reused year on year. Make a good alternative to a stocking if you don't want to use socks, because they can sort of limit the shape of things that you can get. Same with these ones, more drawstring gift bags. Next, let's take a look at Christmas themed scarves. Obviously we saw the Christmas tree wrap earlier that was actually designed as a scarf shawl type thing, but that I would use as a garland. These ones are very specifically scarves. So we have, first up, the Christmas tree and snowflakes lace scarf. So this is a rather elegant version of a Christmassy scarf. So if you were going to an event that you wanted to look a little bit more swish, or if your style was a bit more sort of subtle, this would be a good option. It would make a good gift knit as well. The other scarf, a bit more whimsical, we have Meowy Christmas. I think this is double knitting, as in it's the two sides have the image on. I don't think you're knitting two scarves and sewing them together. I think it's knitted as like a tube with the colour work on each side. Just looking at the pictures, but I mean the detail on this is awesome. So Lisa Hannon Fox, £6.55, using Cascade yarns for the sample. Yeah, a lot of detail there. I've not done double knitting in this way. I mean, I've done pockets on socks, because why wouldn't you? But I've not done like scarves in double knitting. And my final section is the stuff that I couldn't fit anywhere else. So first up, let's look at these Christmas bows. I've got random things popping up in front of me on my screen at the moment, so let's get rid of those. Oh, and I've lost the bows. Where'd they go? Anywho, there was a bow pattern. Let me just get that back open again. So Christmas bows, Snoo Knits. The bows that I put on my Christmas tree are now getting a bit old and tatty, so I would like to replace them at some point. So this might be the pattern to go for. So this is what they look like on the Christmas tree. So yeah, it's the simple bows. They look like stocking stitch. I don't think they take too long to make up, and you know, £3, not a bad price for a pattern. Following on from the bows, we have the Christmas tree cushion. And okay, you could expand this into a blanket if you wanted. This is only the miscellaneous section because I only had the one cushion to show you. So we've got little pom-poms on the Christmas tree in the centre of this basket. I think it might be a pliqué on that Christmas tree, so knit separately in a pliqué on. And I could be wrong, I haven't looked at the pattern. But that's interesting if it is. My immediate thought would have been intarsia looking at the main picture, but as you look at the close-up, that does look a bit more three-dimensional than intarsia, so that may well be a pliqué darn, which is interesting. Then we have the Santa Claus bookmark, so if you are somebody who reads Christmassy books at Christmas, it'd be a good option. So this is just standard colour work. It's going to use a few scraps up. Yeah, nice little quick knit to get you through the season. In a similar vein, we have a colourway work Christmas Nordic hairband. This is also by Snoo. This is a free pattern. Not something I would have automatically thought of as a Christmassy knit headband, but yeah, I mean, like, ones that keep your ears warm, absolutely, but not one to just hold your hair back. That would be rather sweet on kids at Christmas, on Christmas Day, that kind of thing. And yeah, free pattern, always good. And my final pattern to show you is largely the reason for the miscellaneous section. Marvin the Melted Snowman, which is a free pattern. I don't know if you class this as an amigurumi because he's kind of flat, but he's more 3D than a coaster. I mean, he's adorable. I may have to make him, but again, I need white yarn. What would you describe him as? Is he just a figurine? Is he an amigurumi? Is he what is he? I'm confused, but in a good way. I like him. So that's all the patterns that I have to show you today as ideas of things that you could start making now, ready for Christmas. Or even if you are less organised, like myself, patterns that you could start making in November and still have them done by Christmas. Obviously not all of them. The blankets maybe not, but yeah, some of the others you could get done. Last minute gifts and all that sort of stuff. So thank you so much for spending time with me today. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. In the meantime, there is this one here that may be of interest to you, and I will see you soon. But until then, happy crafting and bye bye for now.